All right, in today's video, I'm going to answer the question, what does success look like in a Google Ads campaign? And I get asked the question a lot, how do I know if my campaign is successful? And I generally say whatever makes the advertiser the most profit determines whether or not your campaign is successful. And that can be, a multitude of things. Um, when we're talking about service-based business, something I specialize in and our company specializes in, success looks like consistent high-quality leads, which generally make the most amount of money for our customers. It's important to note that campaigns inside Google Ads accounts can be designed completely differently, but still be successful. So the things I'm going to list out below when it comes to what a successful campaign looks like, the formation of it, and the results you should be aiming for. These things can be entirely different. Just think e-commerce, the way it's set up is using broad match, it's using Google's AI system and dynamic search ads, something service-based businesses almost use none of, but it can still be super successful. So just take it with a grain of salt and understand the actual market you're in before, coming to any conclusions. So the first thing I'm going to cover is the actual account structure of a successful campaign inside a service-based business, or specifically the skilled trades we target. When we go through an account, we look at a few things. One is the actual campaign, and is it a specific service, or are the people inside this campaign targeting multiple services and really not allowing there to be any optimization later on? What we like to do is we have one campaign for one service. So if a company does, let's say, roofing, it does insulation, it does windows and doors, we would have a campaign for each one of those because they're very different. But if it was, for example, like commercial roofing, flat roofing, roof repair, those can all be under one campaign in separate ad groups. But it'd be in one campaign because it's all themed as roofing, which is a very good idea and allows for you to easily optimize the campaign. So that being said, the ad groups need to be themed correctly under the campaign. So if you pick a specific service, so an example is roofing, the ad groups underneath it should be things related to roofing, commercial roofing, roof repair, re-roofing, flat roofing, anything like this can all be underneath the or under the campaign roofing, and it allows you to understand, okay, these are going to be my winners and these are going to be my losers, and you can easily turn them on and off. The next thing is the actual keywords you're targeting. So I see a lot with people who aren't experienced or agencies that aren't spending a lot of time in the Google Ads campaign. They'll just put a whole list of keywords. They'll put commercial, residential, roof repair, all in the same ad group just because they don't have the time to go in and put them in their separate ad groups. And essentially, there's no way to optimize for this, or it's going to take a really, really long time. And that being said, these keywords, you can't then make ads for these specific keywords. So think about a customer who types in commercial roofing, and then a residential roofing ad pops up. There's no way to control which ad the individual is going to see, especially if you just put all these keywords into one ad group. So it's not a very good thing. So you really want to theme your ad groups correctly, and then in each ad group have separate ads for that specific service. So if you have a commercial roofing ad group, put commercial roofing ad copy. Don't leave it as just generalized roofing. It's going to help your click-through rate. It's going to make the customer more likely to click on it, and it should generate you more leads in the long run. So it's very, very good. So make sure everything in your entire campaign is themed correctly. It starts with your campaign, it goes down to your ad groups, then it goes down to your keywords and the ad copy associated with those keywords. Very important, and that's generally what dictates a successful campaign early on. That being said, directing traffic to a landing page is also very important. I recommend always using a landing page. You can get significantly higher results with a landing page compared to a website. A website generally converts at 1 to 5%. Normally, I see it less than that. I've seen it at 0.3, 0.4%. And then you start directing the traffic to a landing page, and it goes over to 20% overnight, and the people go, oh my god, this is like fantastic, and it's like you're 20 times in your return very easily. So a simple and professional landing page is very good when it comes to account success. Another thing is proper tracking. If you're only tracking email inquiries, I suggest just using Google's tracking. It's awesome. But if you're doing something like tracking calls, I would suggest using a third-party tracking service. It's a lot easier and a lot better than Google's call tracking service. and it's always going to give you the results because it's a third party and they generally know what they're doing a lot better than Google does, at least in that department. So I would recommend proper tracking. It also allows you to optimize through Google's AI in month 2, 3, and allow for better data to come through to the AI, so it can increase conversion rates later on, which helps success. And with all of this, it allows for the account to be easily optimized, which is one of the most important things when it comes to account success. Yeah, can you have a successful account not following any of these rules? Yep, absolutely. But it's going to be a real pain in the butt to actually optimize this later on, because if all your keywords are thrown into one ad group, or all you have a whole bunch of different services in this one campaign, it's going to be so difficult to optimize it, and you're just going to be lost. So come month 2, 3, 4, you won't be doing anything inside the account, and the account's just going to stagnate because you can't really do anything to it, right? Um, and in optimization, you got to be A/B testing your ad copy. You got to be finding the winners and losers when it comes to keywords. You got to be A/B testing the landing pages. All this accounts into optimization, which really determines whether or not account is going to be successful in the long run. So that's really what an account looks like that's set up for success, and that's how I would form it when starting off a new account or taking over a previously used account. The next thing is metrics to consider. So once you've created a successful campaign, you've formed it correctly, you've themed everything, you have proper tracking, the landing pages are good, um, you want to look at the results. And understanding the results is very, very important when determining campaign success. You could have all these things that I just mentioned before in hand, but your results are just crappy. And if you don't know how to read them, you're not going to be able to optimize the account very well. So the first thing is the actual cost per click. How much are you paying per click? And sometimes this is really expensive, sometimes this is really cheap, depending on the market you're in. You're always going to want to aim for a lower cost per click, though you always want to maintain high intent keywords. This is why you want to add essentially as many winning keywords as possible. That way Google can find the lowest cost per click of those keywords and bid on that, thus lowering your cost per click. Really, there's not much you can do with cost per click other than add more keywords that are relevant. But the goal of this is to aim for the lowest cost per click while still maintaining high relevancy and high buying intent in your keyword. But it's not a super, super important point. But it should be noted that a extremely high cost per click can affect the outcome of your campaign and whether or not it's a success, because you are paying per click every time someone clicks on the ad. The next thing is click-through rate. So click-through rate is very important when determining ad quality and whether or not your ad is going to be shown. If your ad is absolutely terrible and say it's getting a 0.2% click-through rate, Google is probably not going to show it. And that's going to cost you a lot of money. Well, either it won't cost you any money because Google's not showing it, or two, it's going to cost you a lot of money because Google's going to make you pay a premium to show it. I generally suggest getting a click-through rate anywhere from 5 to 10%. If you're in that range, you're pretty much good. Always try to A/B test it, get a higher click-through rate. The higher you can get, the higher your ad quality score, and the lower your cost per click will be, because Google will favor a high quality score over a higher cost per click. Just how the auction system works, and it's very nice to advertisers who really try to help their customers and think about them on an ongoing basis. The next thing is impression share. So impression share is how many times out of 100 do you show up as a ad when someone searches for a specific keyword. So this, I see this a lot in campaigns where advertisers will always want to show up 100% of the time. And it's not going to happen, because if you're in a large market, there's always going to be someone who has more money at a given time than you to spend on an ad and will show up in front of you. So we like to aim for at least 80%. We like to be showing, we like to be in front of people. That being said, it's not always feasible, especially with smaller budgets, but 80% is a very good thing to be showing for. And generally, when you're showing and you have a high impression score, it's a good signal that Google likes your ad and it's going to continue showing it. So it's a nice little marker of success in your campaign, and that Google likes the ad and will most likely continue showing it. The next thing is high conversion rates. So think about how many times does a person have to click on your landing page or go through your landing page to actually request a quote, call you, or email you. We like this to be in the neighborhood of 20 to 40%. So 20 to 40 out of 100 people will get in contact with you. This is generally a really good rate, and it really allows for even a higher cost per click. So say you're even paying 30 or 40 bucks a click to still be profitable in the long end just because so many people are converting. And conversion rate really comes down to a few things. One is, are you using the correct keywords, high enough buying intent? The second is ad copy. And the third is landing pages. So if you don't have a good landing page and your ad copy doesn't really resonate with that landing page, you're going to have a really poor conversion rate. And you want it as high as possible because that'll generate the most leads as possible. And whoever's doing the advertising, if you're doing it for a company or you're doing it for yourself, that will generally result in the best outcome for you. The next thing is low cost per lead. So one thing I find very interesting inside of Google Ads agencies is most are able to generate low cost per leads. And they'll be able to get you a lot of leads. However, the leads themselves aren't very good because they're targeting broad match, which can target literally any keyword on the planet, essentially. And I'm exaggerating there, but they'll target so many keywords that aren't related to what your services actually are. So think about HVAC DIY, HVAC tips and tricks, uh, HVAC companies hiring. These are keywords that a normal business owner would say, no, I don't want to show for that. But using broad match, your ads will be showing for this. And yes, you'll get a lot of leads, but none of these are going to be high quality. So it's very important that we want to aim for a low cost per lead, but we still want to maintain high quality. So it's much better to pay a higher cost per click, so 20 or 30 bucks, then and get someone who's interested in your service, then pay a low cost per click and like $5 or $10 a click, but get super low quality leads. So remember, trying to lower your cost per lead is very important to being able to maintain consistent leads overall throughout the month. But you need to remember that quality is super important for determining success inside of a campaign. The next thing in here is the actual sales system. Um, this is very important. If someone takes 100 leads to sell one person, uh, chances are it's not going to be a super profitable thing for them because they're wasting so many leads. So they have to have a proper sales system behind their company. So if you're not able to sell, you need to get someone who can sell or teach yourself to sell, which is important. It's an important metric for the ad agency or whoever's running the actual Google campaign to understand, like, okay, we need to send this person X amount of leads to get a sale, and that sale is worth X amount of dollars. And then we can determine what our lead cost can be. So it's important to have a sales system, and it's important to know your numbers behind that. The next thing and the most important thing is profit. So we want our profit to be as large as possible for a successful campaign, and generally that's how we determine it. If you can get, let's say, a lead for $100 and it takes 10 leads to close a sale, and you make $25,000, say you're installing pools, $25,000 off a pool, you made $24,000, 25 minus the 1,000 is 24,000, and that is what I would determine as, is this going to be a success or not? And at the end of the day, it comes down to profit. How much money are you making overall? And that's how we would determine a successful campaign. So if you follow these things, you structure your account well, you look at these metrics, you're trying to adjust, chances are you're going to have a very successful campaign. It's just doing this over a long time, optimizing it isn't the easiest thing, but if you do it, you follow these steps, you follow these guidelines, you will have a successful campaign. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. I'd love to answer them. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful day and take care.